All right, what's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome back to the channel. We got some news to go over. Let me fix this. All right, we got some news to go over. I apologize for not being on like earlier tonight. Really didn't plan on going live tonight, but I figured we had some things that we had to cover tonight. I was working earlier, you know, before midnight, and so that is kind of why we are going right now so late here. We won't be on long, but we're just going to touch up on some news. Injury concern, obviously, throughout. It just seems like a lot of guys are getting injured here lately. We're not even to the first preseason games. What's crazy about it? So, we may or may not do a draft. We'll see here. I might do one. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if Underdog's got some. I know they got like the weeklies up still, but I don't know if they have any new contests out right now other than the super expensive ones, which I'm not really interested in doing. I've already done quite a few of them. But we got injuries to cover. Let me log in here. Kupp obviously being one of them. Alexander Mattison being another one of those. Got a couple of injuries from a couple of days ago. Remember, we haven't been live since like Sunday, and so I do apologize for not going live Monday, but just busy doing some stuff. Like I said, I work outside of doing all this stuff, and so it's tough to do it full time and be online every single day. If I got paid, you know, to do it, then it would be different, but I do not. So let's just start off with some smaller news, and then we'll jump into. We left off here with JT, as you guys see, JT here. We'll circle back to him probably after I'm done, but for right now, let's go over some recent news. Remember, I told you guys last time we kicked off, like Saturday and Sunday, I told you guys I expected Dalvin Cook news. I expected Kamara news. And what do you know? Here we go. We do have some Kamara news, and this actually came out Monday. So this came out the day after we went live, the last time that we were live. Kamara planning on meeting with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell regarding his offseason arrest. I expect. I don't know if maybe this happened Monday. This was Monday. Adam Schefter on Twitter. And so maybe he met with him either today or yesterday. Today's getting ready to be Thursday, actually. I believe. No, today's Wednesday. So today, or let's just talk about yesterday. Yesterday, Tuesday, and the day before, Monday. Maybe he met with him. So maybe today we might find something out, or maybe Thursday or Friday we'll find something out. We'll see. I'll be curious to know what, if they met, and if like a suspension gets handed down like immediately following this meeting. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets like a slap on the wrist here, like a 1 gamer, a no gamer, maybe 2 gamer. I don't think it's going to be any more than 4, but I could see like a 1 or a 2 gamer would be my best guesstimate here. If you guys wanted my honest opinion, I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't get anything, but I don't think he doesn't get anything, you know what I mean? To where it's like they just nothing. I would say 1 or 2 gamer would be the most likely scenario in my opinion. 4 games I could see, but that's going to be the most. For right now, if I was a betting man, give me 1 to 2 games. So, all right, let's go on to our next piece of news. This is kind of big news. I don't have too much of this guy, and he's not a guy who's highly ranked in terms of fantasy projections, and so it sucks. It's big news for the Broncos. If you're a Broncos fan, this guy was going in like around 16, 17 roughly, in some of our fantasy football underdog drafts and stuff like that. Tim Patrick was carted off the practice field on Monday after sustaining a non-contact injury. The early fears that the veteran suffered an Achilles injury, according to head coach Sean Payton, and I think that's what they're calling this. This is an Achilles injury. He's out for the year, I believe, because this was a couple days ago, and so, yeah, suffered the ACL last year, missed the whole season. Now he suffered an Achilles. And you know, in all honesty, we'll see what happens. But Tim Patrick might be retired, bro. He might be done. He might be done. He's already 30 years old. So it's just an unfortunate scenario for somebody like him, man. And Patrick is a decent player. He really is a good player. You know, Mims also. So, oh wait, not Mims, but KJ Hamler also is having like heart issues as well. They actually cut him, I believe, like today or yesterday. And so Mims could be in line here to like step up into, you know, basically the number 3 wide receiver this year. He's going to get a fair share of opportunity this year with Patrick and Hamler both basically being gone for the season would be my guess. We'll see what happens with KJ Hamler, but they could pick him up off of waivers or something later. We'll see. But just not good, man. Not good. There's a lot of guys going down, it seems like, with either really this is kind of the first guy to get a season-ending injury as far as on the offensive side of the ball that's kind of meaningful in fantasy. So we'll see. All right, let's go to Bigsby first. So Tank Bigsby. Impressing in short yardage situation. This is what I like to see, because I'm going to be heavily. I'm actually decently invested in Tank Bigsby. Let's see how many shares I got of him. Probably not enough, but I bet you I got more shares of him than I do ETN, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, I got 16.6% of Bigsby. I have 24 shares of him in this 145 contest. Let's see how many I got in this 25 Superflex here. I got 3 shares of them out of 25 teams. So 3, you know, I got 20. I probably got around 30, a little more than 30 shares of Bigsby this year. I'm actually pretty high on Bigsby. He was really good at Auburn. I think he's gonna translate pretty good to the NFL. I think Travis Etienne is a decent back as well, but at the same time, this guy is a threat. This guy is a threat to Etienne's work, you know, his workloadage. Bigsby is excelling in short yardage situation at training camp, showing impressive acceleration and ability to hit the hole with power in red zone drills. From Sports Illustrated is the source on this. I'm not shocked. And this guy had a 15%, over a 15% target share in college out of the backfield, catching the ball, which is extraordinary in college. That is an extraordinary number to have in college. And he's very capable of catching the ball out of the backfield and being a receiving threat. And so, yeah, this guy, if this guy's not on your radar, and if you own ETN, you better own this guy. There's a guy in my league who's probably going to keep ETN. And I'm telling you right now, he is not going to get this guy from me, bro. Unless he pays for him. He will pay for him. He will pay for him to get him in my auction league. Because this is going to be a guy that I'm going to be looking for. Especially since he's attached to Jacksonville's offense. Who, you know, Jacksonville's offense is a team I am targeting. So, all right, let's move on to another. This is a more positive piece of news for Broncos fans. Javonte Williams, this is actually today. It's actually this morning, roughly, you know, really like an hour ago. So far, Javonte Williams has taken a majority of reps so far in Broncos training camp. James Palmer on Twitter. Fantasy Impact. Williams noted it has been the coaching staff that has wanted him to hold back, but he has been limited so far, according to the reports, after being cleared to practice in pads. Williams also mentioned that he will get today off, which is a Wednesday, as players returning from ACL injuries practice for 2 days in full pads, and then they get the third day off. It is always tough for running backs coming off torn ACLs, as Adrian Peterson and Jamal Charles are the only running backs to post huge seasons the year after in recent history. With that being said, Williams seems to be ahead of schedule in his recovery and could be close to full strength by week 1. This is I'm very pessimistic about this situation. What's going on, Randy? I'll get to your question in 1 minute. I just want to wrap up these final thoughts about Javonte. I did draft a little bit of Javonte early, like back in May. I didn't draft too much of him. I did try to get P. Ryan whenever I could. Obviously, the reports coming out on Javonte are just super optimistic, super good. And I feel like I don't know what to think here, man, because I was super... Look, I had Javonte last year in my main league, actually a couple of my main leagues, and he obviously, he obviously burned me pretty good last year. And so... And then obviously having Brees in the one league on top of it, it was like the icing on the cake. And so I love Javonte, but at the same time, they did pay P. Ryan a ton of money as a backup. He's going to be one of the highest backups in the league. And, he's going to be one of the most used backups in the league. And so I think Javonte does okay. I think he does okay if he stays healthy the whole year. But I don't think he's top 10. I don't think there's a chance he gets to top 10. Really the only way he gets to top 10, barring an injury from maybe P. Ryan, would be the Broncos go out and win like 11 or 12 games and just shock everybody, and they just, they're one of the best AFC teams in the league where they're scoring a lot, winning games and stuff. I feel like that's the only way, but I don't think it's going to happen. Do you like Swift as RB2 in PPR? Don't like the committee reports. No, I don't. And I was kind of high on Swift a little bit early on back in May, but no. I think, yeah, Swift is a guy, man. I'm avoiding his ADP right now. I haven't been drafting Swift at all where his ADP is. I've been taking Pierce like every single time over him. It's not even close. It's really not even close. The thing is that the Eagles aren't going to use Swift the way that the Lions used him. They're just not going to. I'm gonna have to see it before I believe it. Jalen Hurts and that offense, Hurts is going to steal so many of his touchdowns and everything else. Doesn't really throw the ball out to the running back much. In Detroit, it was different. They schemed, and that, like, this is why Jahmyr Gibbs is so good, because Detroit would scheme Swift. They had literally packages and plays for him, and that's why they drafted Gibbs. Because they were going to get rid of Swift anyways. They were going to try to trade him or get rid of him. That's why they took Gibbs. He was coming in to replace Swift. And Gibbs is the perfect guy because he plays a very similar style of running back that Swift and Kamara are. He's basically like a clone of those guys. And so Gibbs, that's why I'm a little higher on Gibbs, obviously, because he's stepping into the role that the Lions already had planned out for Swift. Swift just couldn't stay on the field enough. And so, love Samaji as running back 2, tons of upside. Yeah, I mean, it's going to hurt Samaji a little bit if Javonte can stay healthy the whole year. But at the same time, he is one of the highest paid running backs in the league this year, as far as backups go, I should say. He's one of the highest backup paid running backs. And so, man... Javonte's definitely, with these reports, it's definitely concerning. If you really love P. Ryan and you think he could maybe explode this year, it's going to be tough. They are going to use P. Ryan similar to like Kamara, the way that Kamara was used in in New Orleans. So Peyton has said that part out loud. Also, I was looking into wide receivers that are in divisions with weaker secondaries. Ridley will play 31st ranked Colts, 28th ranked Titans, 26th ranked Colts. Yeah, this year. I think you meant 26th ranked Texans. You got the Colts in there twice. You probably mean the Texans. You're talking about their whole division. Yeah. I would actually, and you know what? Another guy that people aren't really talking about is Kirk. Christian Kirk is going to be a guy that you can just steal probably in round 6 or 7, probably in a normal league. I know he goes about round 5 in the best ball leagues, but in a normal league, he'll go about 6 or 7. And that'll be a guy that you could just swipe. I think in my auction league, they have like Kirk projected to go for like $9. That is like crazy to me. Because let's not forget, although I'm obviously loving Ridley, he's a part of this player list right here, the nuclear player list.
These players are going nuclear in 2023, dropping mushrooms on the competition. Draft as many nuclear players as you can to demolish other league members in fantasy football this year.
All right, so yeah, although, like I said, although Ridley is now on this list for nuclear players, don't forget about Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is a guy who he's gonna, you know, people are starting to forget about Kirk, I feel like. And like, let's not forget, Kirk is the highest paid receiver on that team. I know they just paid Ingram a little bit of money as well, but Kirk is still, he's still getting paid a hefty amount of money, you know, the salary from the Jaguars, and he's going to be heavily involved as well. Really, like I said, I'm super high on Jacksonville's offense this year. I think it could be one of the best offenses in the league. I've been saying that forever. I own Trevor Lawrence in my auction league now. He's one of my keepers this year, you know, for cheap. I'm going like all in on Jacksonville this year. Chris says, thinking about taking Lamb at pick 1.08 over Bijan, Diggs, and AJ Brown. Thoughts? Who would you take on a 12-team PPR redraft? I would take Bijan. I'm definitely not taking Lamb, dude. I don't know, man. I know they're talking Lamb up. I could see Lamb to a degree. I'm decently high on Lamb. I would take all 3 of them. Like AJ Brown would be in the back of the list of these 4 guys. Diggs and Lamb is a coin flip. If you want to get like late running backs, like if you want to try to go get somebody like Pierce, you want to go get somebody like you know, whoever else, like a Mixon or a Cam Akers. I wouldn't draft Dobbins. I don't think Dobbins is that situation's a little different. It's a little concerning. But if you want to get like a Najee, a Mixon, Pierce, you want to go for those guys later, then yeah, you could debate taking Lamb. Says he has the same pick. If Bijan's there at 1.08, I'm hammering. If not, I'm taking St. Brown, top 3 receivers this year. Book it. The reason why I'm not high, look, I love Lamb, but I don't like his quarterback. I don't care about Dak coming out and saying he's not going to throw 15 picks, this and that. They just lost their offensive coordinator, and they got Mike McCarthy calling plays now, so I'm a little worried about that in a sense. I don't think Dak... Look, like I said, dude, the toughest thing for an offense is when a quarterback loses the offensive coordinator, especially whenever he's performed so good with that offensive coordinator in the past. And if you go back and look at Dak's last 4 years, you take out the 2 years where he was injured, you take out last year where he missed the first 5 games virtually. I mean, obviously he got hurt in the first game and then he missed the 5 games after that. And then you go back 3 years where he only played 5 games. He had the ankle injury. If you take those out, he was a really good quarterback. And that was mostly due, I think, in part to having Kellen Moore. So, yeah, I just, I don't know about Lamb, man. I like him. I just don't like his quarterback. Randy says, I just feel like AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Adams, Diggs, you know, they all get a top 10 receiver, but those guys ain't finishing top 3. Yeah. Yeah, it just depends on how many catches Bijan gets. If Bijan can get like 50 catches this year, if he can get upwards of 300 total touches, he's definitely top 3, I think. He's definitely top 3. All right, let me go into the next piece of news here. So we got Mattison. Mattison didn't finish practice. So, according to Kevin Seifert of ESPN, Minnesota running back Alexander Mattison got off the practice field early, watched the remainder of practice before entering the locker room. Some suggest he limped with an apparent leg injury. This is a little bit concerning. Now, look, I wasn't really high on Mattison to begin with. I thought he was going way too high on drafts. He was basically going, because he was going ahead of guys like Dameon Pierce. And Dameon Pierce, I have like so much higher than a lot of people. And so I just wouldn't draft him because I could just get Dameon Pierce at like the middle to end of round 6. And so, and you got to think he's on a high passing offense. This team is going to pass more than just about anybody other than like my Chiefs and the Chargers probably. But they're going to pass the ball a ton. Their defense sucks. They're going to be in shootouts basically if they want to even compete for, you know, especially if they're playing really good teams. And I just don't think Mattison was going to get the same involvement that Cook got over the last few years. So just gotta look at the history of rookie running backs that got drafted top 10 speaks for itself. Yeah, I agree with you, Randy. We go back and look at Barkley's rookie year. He was number one. He was number one guy. And Bijan, it's not like Bijan's playing for the Chargers or he's playing for the Vikings. He's playing for a team that runs the ball more than anybody. And look, Algier's going to get some work, okay? Let's not count out Algier here. Would Atlanta just abandon Algier and Patterson? No, they're not going to. I'm kind of hoping, I shouldn't say this. I don't hope anybody gets hurt, but I hope that, because you got to think Patterson's making, I think he's making around $5.5 million a year, which is what Bijan's getting paid. Bijan's getting paid about $5.5 million a year. I heard them talking about him returning punts and kickoffs or something. I don't know why Patterson's not doing that. I don't know why they would have Bijan doing that. To me, that's just stupid. If he's actually taking punts, that just tells you how dumb the freaking coach is. He should not be doing that with the guy that 1 plays running back, 2 you drafted 8th overall in the NFL draft this year. So yeah, they will look. They will feed him. I will pull this up right now. I kind of went over this a while ago. This is a long time ago. This is probably back in like May, maybe early June. But look, they're going to use Algier to a degree. I'm hoping they somehow phase out Cordero Patterson. I'm hoping because or something. I'm not hoping he gets hurt, but an injury couldn't hurt, you know. But and I don't want to wish injury upon any of these guys. These guys put their bodies on the line every week. But let's go to, let me see here. I mean, look, Algier had what, 210 carries last year, right? Let me pull this up real quick. All right, Tyler Algier, here he is. Patterson. Look, dude, as much as they run the ball, and this guy wants to run the ball. Don't get me wrong, dude. Algier is going to be a factor unless he gets hurt. But what Algier had 210 carries, ran over for 1,000 yards, 1,035 yards, and Patterson was able to kind of he missed 4 games, but he ran 144 times. So, and then I think if you count Caleb Huntley, what did Huntley? Well, another guy who ran a ton was Mariota, the quarterback, which we won't have to worry about that this year at all with Bijan. Ritter's not going to be running much. Definitely not as much as Mariota. How many rushes did Mariota have? Mariota had, I know he had a ton last year. Mariota had 85, and so yeah. Yeah, I would make sure I have Algier. I'm not gonna lie, that's the most important handcuff of the year as far as running backs go. Algier, I would make sure you get him because this guy, he's going to run. I mean, he's not going to run 210 times. You got to think 210 last year for Algier. Patterson had 144. Mariota had 80. Or what, he had 85. And so hopefully Patterson gets a little bit less than 100. Hopefully, hopefully less than 50, but less than 100 would make sense. And then Algier's going to fall into kind of where Patterson was last year. Patterson had 144 last year. Algier probably fall into that 150. He could fall into the 150 to 160 range. And then hopefully Bijan just gets the rest, which could be about anywhere from 220 to 250. That's how many if I was gauging how many rushes he was going to have, Bijan be about 220 to 250, and then you factor in maybe hopefully like 50 plus catches. So if Bijan goes down, Algier is an RB2. No, yes, he is. Yeah, he immediately vaults into an RB2 as far as I'm concerned. Algier finished as RB29 in PPR in this league last year, in my league. So RB2 is basically a running back who's 24 and above, right? 24 to 13. He easily vaults into that category, especially if Bijan goes down early. So, which let's not even talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that because I do not want to see him go down as much as I got investment into him this year. All right, last piece of news. Obviously, it's Cooper Kupp. You guys probably already know this, especially if you guys watch Smitty's show. Reportedly suffered a hamstring issue in practice Tuesday from Twitter. So I don't have much of Kupp. I have a little bit of Kupp. I need to look and see how much I truly have of him, but obviously I don't even have a chance to get him in my other league, my main league, because he's being kept by somebody else. At least for now he is. We'll see if that guy remains to be kept after this comes down. I got 10 shares of Kupp, 6.9%, so I'm not heavily invested. Not too worried about it. If I own Kupp though, I wouldn't say I'm freaking out, but this is probably a compensation injury if I had to guess. If I had to guess, it's a compensation injury because you got to think he missed. This is what happens when you have these guys that miss so much time. And look, this is why I'm worried about Javonte. I know we just talked about Javonte, but it's like, when's the compensation injury going to come up for Javonte is the question. Because I think, look, I know the reports about Javonte are awesome right now, right? We'll go back to here. Not being limited, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I literally just went over Cooper Kupp news the last time I was live on Sunday, and this is what it was. Not being limited in training camp. This was Friday. I went over this Sunday. This happened Friday. I went over this Sunday. Cooper Kupp wasn't being limited. Everything's looking good, and then here we go. Fast forward to today, and we got a hamstring issue, compensation injury. You got to think this guy hasn't, who knows how much time you got to think he missed the last 8 games with that ankle injury, had to have surgery on it. Who knows how much, really when he got back in the running routes and cutting on the ankle and stuff. But it's probably a compensation injury. So, and this is why, even though with all the good news coming out about Javonte, I am still skeptical because at some point a compensation injury is probably coming down. It's coming down the wire, man. It may not happen until week 4. It may not happen until week 5. We don't know. You guys got to think. Barkley came back and he came back. He didn't really do hot the first 2 weeks. I'll show you guys this. Barkley did pretty good the first 2, or he didn't do so hot the first 2 weeks, right? He didn't do so hot the first 2 weeks. This is his actual fantasy production. And then look, week 3 against Atlanta, 18.4. Then he went crazy against New Orleans, and then he injured the ankle. Bothered him. Didn't come back till week 11. He came back week 11, but if you guys look, week 11 all the way out, except for this 17-point game he had here, he He played over 70% of the snaps in 2 games after that, the rest of that season. He basically took the rest of this season to get over the injury. I just feel like we're going to see something similar with Javonte, man. I can't ignore it. Go back to the news desk here. I feel like Kupp is done. Hamstrings are no freaking joke. Look at Keenan Allen. Yeah, we'll see if Keenan Allen bounces back. I'm still skeptical about Keenan Allen. I wasn't high on Keenan last year either. You know, ACLs and groins they're usually compensation injuries for the most part, especially hamstrings. But they're also just like hamstrings, ankles, especially if it's a high ankle sprain or something. That's why I'm not really worried about Garrett Wilson being a low ankle sprain, but like hamstrings, groins, they're like injuries that just stick around, it seems like. It's like, I don't know, unless it's a young player, which Kupp's not young, Keenan Allen wasn't young, he's still not young, obviously, a year later. If they're young players, they usually can get by it. But the older players, whenever they start having hamstring issues, you start thinking about Julio Jones, Keenan Allen last year, obviously. It's just like these older players, it takes, I don't know, they don't take enough time. And so it's like they, you know, it's just like it lingers all season, man. And so it's tough. It's tough to trust. Who do you think has the better season, Olave or Wilson? Both got QB upgrades. Rodgers is good. Carr loves to throw deep. Both benefit extremely with their QBs based on their play styles. It's a tough one, man. I own Olave in one of my leagues. I'm actually probably going to keep him. I don't know. I'm kind of borderline whether or not I'm going to keep him or not because it's auction. And so it just depends on if I think his value is good enough to keep him. But I like both guys. If I had to pick one, I'm taking Garrett Wilson, dude. You know, it's close, but I don't know if it's that close. I mean, Garrett Wilson set himself apart from pretty much every rookie receiver last year. And I'm not saying Olave played bad or Drake London played bad, but Wilson was just... I mean, you go look at the targets. Wilson had, 147 targets. I think Olave in London had like 119 targets. And if Mike Thomas comes back and is actually healthy, we'll see if Mike Thomas can stay healthy or not. I'm skeptical of him too, but that will take a little bit out of Olave, you know, Olave's production. We'll see though. I think they're both good picks this year. Understand an ACL tear, bounce back, but Javonte freaking tore. Yeah, I know. Javonte blew his knee, and they're all grade 3s as well. Unless he's juicing. Well, you know what? I think Peterson was juicing when he came back and ran for 2002. So, I really do. But maybe he is, bro. And if he is, that's really kind of the only... And if he is, I wish he would just tell me, and I would go ahead and draft him. If I knew he was juicing, I'd be, yeah, dude, I would draft him all day because I mean, it'll tear your body down for doing steroids and stuff, but it won't in that initial year. That initial year he'll be fine. Yeah, that would be maybe he's juicing, bro. I wouldn't be shocked. So I don't agree with your ATL take. My guy Bijan is slot. You're in the backfield. Yeah, we'll see. I'm a little bit concerned about that, though. About them maybe putting Bijan in the slot a ton. It just depends on how much they throw him the ball, though. If they throw him the ball a ton, if they end up throwing him the ball a ton, then it'll work its way. You know, it'll be okay. It'll work its way out. I would, in best ball especially, I would own both of them. Like, I wouldn't even have to think about it. I would try to get Algier around early in best ball if I end up drafting Bijan in the first round. Because they are both going to get used. Now, if Algier goes down, Bijan is going to blow up. They're going to use him as much as possible. Look, I think they're both going to be able to exist in Atlanta's offense because they run the ball so much. These guys run the ball more than any team in the league, and it's not even close. The only teams that were close last year were the Bears and who's the other? the Ravens, and they both have running quarterbacks. If it wasn't for their running quarterback, they wouldn't even be close in rush attempts. So if you take out the running quarterback, they're not even close in rushing attempts, really. So QJ, yeah. Quentin Johnson, yeah. Quentin Johnson's a good guy to go after. If you guys are, I think the best rookie receiver this year is probably going to be Addison, though. But I do like Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson's like a second or third guy on the list, probably. We'll see what JSN does, but it'll probably be, I think second place will be between JSN and Quentin Johnson as far as the rookie receivers go. Does Wilson's division scare you at all? I guess going up against Sauce in practice will help him a ton. It probably helped him a ton last year too, bro. No, I'm not scared. I'm not scared about Wilson at all, dude. I don't care. Wilson's fine. He's fine. He's top 5. He's a top 5 receiver. He's number 5 in the rankings, in my receiver rankings. Maybe he finishes 6th or 7th. Who knows? He'll finish close to that, I think. Rodgers is gonna love throwing to that guy. He hasn't had a guy like that since Adams. And I'm not worried about Lazard being on the other side. Lazard will get a little bit of, throws coming his way, but the thing about Wilson is I think Wilson will be, like, even if he, let's just say because Wilson had 83 catches last year or something like that, right? Or 87 catches, whatever the heck it was. I think it was 87. But, or maybe it was 83. I forget what it was. It was in the 80s. Let me look it up here. Garrett Wilson, 83. Yeah, okay, 83 catches. I think Garrett Wilson, there's a chance maybe he doesn't get to 100 catches. Maybe he gets about 90 to 95 catches. But I think he's going to be more efficient with those catches. He had 4 touchdowns last year. This offense is going to see the red zone way more than last year. Look, they're not going to probably win the Super Bowl. They're not going to be like this team that everybody's making them out to be. But they're going to be more efficient on offense. He's got 4 touchdowns last year. Look for that to double pretty easily, I think, to 7 or 8. And look for him to be more efficient on probably 10 to 15, maybe 20 more total catches. We'll see. So no, I'm not worried about Wilson at all. Adrian Peterson return punts as a rookie. I just don't know why they would do it though when they got Patterson on the team. I don't even understand that. Patterson's one of the best returners of all time, especially when it comes to kickoff returns. Be big on London and Pitts this year. I'm thinking of grabbing one of them. If I grabbed one of them, it would be London. I don't know if I trust Pitts, dude. I don't know if I trust Pitts. It seemed like Ritter loved to throw the ball to London too late in the season. So if I did grab one, it's London. Really, I'm not really that high on Pitts this year. I think you're going to be disappointed if you grab him again. HGH, yeah, might have been. He was on something. I guarantee you he was on something. Now that I'm thinking about it, Javonte hasn't been hitting the lower leg yet by a 300-pound lineman. Yeah, dude, I'm not buying it either, bro. I'm not buying it. Like I said, I think people are going to ride me for this probably, but because week 1, Javonte might be pretty decent, and week 2, he could be okay. Just, if he gets past week 7, then I'll be like, okay, Javonte's back. You know what I mean? But I'd like to see him get further than what Barkley did whenever he returned without a compensation injury. You know what I mean? So people are going to be all over Bijan, or not Bijan, Javonte. They're going to be all over Javonte, man. And after week 1 or 2, if he ends up playing pretty good one of those weeks, but like I said, dude, let's see how long he makes it, bro. Because, and Brees is kind of the same way, but I feel a little different about Brees because Brees did not blow his knee up the way that Javonte did. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I would be hesitant with Javonte. And if I did draft him, especially in a best ball, you better have P. Ryan. But it's almost tough to get them both because their ADPs are so close. Especially right now, like you could have got them both back in May pretty easily, because you could have got one in one round, the other in the other round. Now they're starting to go like right next to each other. Let's look here. Javonte's ADP is 83.6. And then P. Ryan is, okay, P. Ryan's is 108.2, so maybe not. But I don't know. For some reason, every time I see Javonte go, I always see P. Ryan go like a round later almost. So basically, like if somebody's drafting at the beginning of round 8, they usually don't see him at the end of round 9. So is Darren Waller top 3 tight end? He could be. I don't think he's not in my top 3 list, but I'm not saying he couldn't be. We'll see. If he stays healthy, that's if. Yeah, he could be top 5. Top 3. You'd have to see Kelsey get hurt in order for him to be top 3, I feel like, because I think Kelsey, Andrews, and Hawkinson are pretty steadily top 3. Like, I don't see anybody uncrowning those guys as top 3 tight ends. The only way the only way it's going to happen is if one of them gets hurt. So, would you want Gibbs and Amon-Ra on the same team? How about Gibbs and Bijan on the same team? I would want Gibbs and Amon-Ra if I'm in a weekly winners contest. I don't know if I would want them on the same team. It depends on what league it is. Gibbs and Bijan on the same team? No, I don't want Gibbs and Bijan on the same team this year. I don't think. Not unless it's like Dynasty or something. It'd have to be like Dynasty or something long-termish to where like I'm getting both of them like for long term. And I'm able to like keep them or something. If you're in a league where like you got, like I have a league where it's double points for out of position scoring, maybe like that league I would maybe want both of them, because Gibbs is going to catch the ball a ton. I think Bijan's going to catch the ball a little bit as well. Take Goddard over Waller. Yeah, I got Goddard over Waller too. It's close though. It's close. I would say I do. If I had to pick one, I'm taking Goddard, because I'm taking the offense. I'm taking the Eagles offense over the Giants offense. So, and that's kind of how it is with Kelsey, with Hawkinson, and with Mark Andrews. I'm taking their offenses over the Giants. The Giants run their offense through Barkley. Okay, I know Waller's good. He's obviously starting to age a little bit, and the last 2 years, if you've had him, you've probably been cussing this guy in your sleep if you've had him on your team the last 2 years. But I'm taking the offenses, dude. Philadelphia's offense is way more talented. It's going to score way more points than the Giants. And if Saquon ends up missing some time or something, they can just double Waller. They'll just double Waller. Like if nobody has to see Bijan because of an injury or something, that defense is just going to double team Waller. They're just going to take him out of the game. So they're going to make Daniel Jones beat him by throwing it to Slayton, throwing to Hodgins, throwing to the rookie. And so apparently he's lighting it up in camp. Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. Jones going to target all game, though. Who else will he throw to? Hodgins. Hodgins will be the number 1 receiver. Now, Waller could obviously produce more than Hodgins. He'll be probably the number 1 targeted guy. But out of all the receivers, Hodgins is the guy. Just trust me on that. Hodgins is that dude. Hodgins is easily a guy you take in round 15 in every best ball draft. I think there's not very many competition, as far as competition receiver wise down here where Hodgins' ADP is. I have so much of Hodgins, it's not even funny. He might be my 2nd or 3rd highest owned player. Now, in a regular draft, say you have like a 15 round draft like on ESPN, or 16 round or whatever it is, you get Hodgins for free. You you can get Hodgins at the very end of the draft because nobody even knows who he is. Nobody even knows what college he played for. And he went to Oregon State, and like I guarantee you, like half the people that play fantasy couldn't even tell you that. So really hope you get Goddard in the 6th. Goddard should be going in like the 7th round. I've been getting Goddard in round 7 before, you know, for the most part. So like some of these drafts I've done, I haven't done very many lately, but like whenever I get Jalen Hurts in 2nd round or even at the beginning of the 3rd round, I try to get Goddard at the beginning or middle of round 7. So Goddard's good if he can just stay healthy. Same thing with Waller. Waller's a good play. I don't have much of Waller. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I probably drafted him once or twice, and I have almost like 200 teams, but that's because I really think a good strategy in best ball is to go late tight end. Like if you don't get Kelsey, I feel like one of the better strategies in best ball is to go late tight end. Like even skipping out on Goddard and Waller, I think. I'm not saying that's the strategy, but I do think, like I know a lot of teams that did pretty well last year had Kittle, and Kittle, like usually if you go like a I won't say middle round, but if you go like a round 5, 6, 7 / tight end, you usually do pretty well. I think this year that would be Goddard, but it could be Waller. I wouldn't be shocked if it was either one of them. Should be scared of drafting Tua, maybe Waddle and a Tua stack. No, I wouldn't. I know everybody's hyping up to Tua getting hurt and his concussions and this and that, but if I drafted Tua, would I have a backup plan? Would I have like a Kirk Cousins to go with him maybe, or a Geno Smith, or a Deshaun Watson maybe even? Yeah, I probably would, because at the end of the day, man, he is susceptible to being injured again, you know, if he gets knocked around. But we'll see. I mean, I would still draft Tua. I wouldn't be afraid to draft him. Unless he's going like round 6 or something, then yeah. If somebody takes him like round 6, then you'd be like, yeah, you can have him. But if you can get him to go where he's normally going, I wouldn't be scared to draft him. I would just make sure I had another quarterback who's Cousins or Geno, one of those guys who goes like a little bit after him. I would make sure I would have one of those guys too, because you gotta have an insurance plan. ESPN rankings are so whack, it pushes people up boards. People that are drafting will see him at the top of the board and snag him. I mean, hey, you just got to find the value where the value is, and you just got to take it. Doesn't matter if you're drafting on Yahoo, ESPN, Sleeper. I have an auction league that's in Sleeper, so I'm kind of glad, you know. I mean, if I did a redraft, I would probably do it on Sleeper as well. We do our, so like the other 2 redrafts that I have, we do it on Flea Flicker actually. But we have different rules in those 2 leagues. Those 2 leagues are so much different than like your normal league. Dolchich is tight end 1. Respect. Yeah, I would until he shows me otherwise. I actually like Dolchich a lot this year. He's one of my sleepers. Way back. I don't have my sleepers page. I can't show you guys. I don't have it on here, but I did a sleepers video a long time ago, back in like May. He's one of my sleepers, Dolchich. Yeah, I would trust him as your tight end 1, but if he ends up playing bad, or they're not throwing him the ball, or he ends up getting hurt again, I would just obviously dump him, and you're just gonna have to go to plan B, pick up somebody off the waiver wire. But going into the season, until we hear otherwise, if he doesn't get any injuries from now until the start of the season, yeah, I would trust Dolchich as my number 1 tight end. He might be my tight end this year that I draft in my auction league. We'll see. At the 1.08, going Bijan, Amon-Ra, Wilson, Pollard, Chubb, Ridley, Najee Jones. Fields, Judy. Sad Fields won't make it to 5 in my league. Get Herbert. Listen, my MVP that I picked this year is Joe Burrow. But if you told me to pick somebody else that's not Joe Burrow after Joe Burrow, give me Justin Herbert. I think Herbert would win the MVP if Joe didn't. So try to get Amon-Ra in round 2, bro. Try to get him in round 2. Hopefully he goes in round 2. I know people are worried about Bijan and them using him as a receiver, but dude, he is so good of a receiver. I don't think people understand it. I don't think people understand how good of a receiver he is. And so now the problem is will they use him, or will they throw the ball to him enough to where it doesn't matter that they put him out wide? We don't know. We don't really know. It's just one of those things you're gonna have to take a gamble on. Very anxious about the calf strain with Burrow. Don't be. He'll be fine. He'll be fine, bro. Don't worry about Burrow. Bro, calf, he's a quarterback, bro. He's not a receiver. He doesn't run routes. I know it kind of matters, but they got 5 weeks, really 5.5 weeks until the season starts, dude. And don't worry about him not getting reps in training camp, dude. It doesn't matter. Like, he's been playing with the same receiver since he's basically gotten into the league. And even though he didn't play his rookie year with Jamar Chase, he played with that guy in college. So they're on the same page, dude. The only person who may not be on the same page are some of the rookies, and Charlie Jones and then obviously Irv Smith, the tight end. They might be on a little bit of a off schedule as far as timing goes, but it don't matter, bro. Higgins, Boyd, Chase. He's got so much rapport with those guys. It don't matter. It don't matter. Now, when Burrow comes back, let's say he is ready for week 1. There's going to be a chance, especially I think they open up against Cleveland. You might see them maybe they don't start getting it going until the 3rd or 4th quarter, or maybe they don't start getting it going until week 2. So maybe I would, if it's daily fantasy, I would maybe fade some of the Cincinnati guys in week 1, but he's going to get it going eventually, dude. I wouldn't worry about it. He's got plenty of time to heal. It's just a calf strain, dude. It takes a couple weeks to heal. He'll be okay. They got 5 weeks. Who's better, London, Judy, or Watson this season? That's a tough one, man. I don't really like Judy. I'm not gonna lie, but these 2 injuries, you're talking about Patrick being out for the year. Right here, this guy right here. You're talking about KJ Hamler basically off the team, or I think he got cut because of he's got the heart issue or whatever. This could open up, and it's going to open up an avenue for somebody. So it could be the rookie Mims. Maybe Mims ends up being more heavily involved. Maybe it's Dulcich who really kind of gets a boost from all this, or maybe it's Judy. If I had to give you guys a straight answer, I would say Dulcich gets a huge boost from the Patrick and the KJ Hamler news. I think he gets the biggest boost out of anybody, is Greg Dulcich. So, but it could be Judy at the same time. I would say Watson, man. I would say Watson. I'm drafting Watson over both of those guys. Let's just put it that way. So that's just me. Watson is the true number 1 guy. I don't really think it's a question. And we'll see, man. It could be like if I had to rank these guys in order, it would be Watson first, Judy second, London third. It's close between Judy and London, though. The reason why I would say it's Judy over London is because London plays for the Falcons. If London played for a team who threw the ball a ton, it would be London. London is a better receiver than that guy, but the fantasy production is not going to show it because of the team that he plays for, and they run the ball a ton. So you think Judy could crack top 15? I mean, he could. Do I think he will? Let me tell you. Hold on a sec. Let me look at my rankings. He's not in my top 15 rankings. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Now, this could change. I'm not saying he's top 15 on my list now, but he's sliding up my ranking list after these 2 injuries, for sure. Because what else are they gonna do? You know what I mean? That just means it's more production for somebody, or even a couple of people in the offense. It's possible, but I think it's unlikely. I see Judy as top 20 though. Top 20 though. Top 15 stretching it, I think. Judy league winner. He can't be a league winner, bro. He goes too soon in drafts. Dude, I did a draft the other day and somebody drafted him with the first pick of the 3rd round. He went 25th overall. League winners don't get drafted 25th overall, bro. I know some people probably got him in like round 4 or 5 because that's where he should be going, but I did a draft the other day and the guy was the first pick of round 3. I could not freaking believe it. I think that was in a weekly though. It might have been in a weekly winner. Actually, yeah. I think no, it wasn't. It was in this draft right here. It was in this Best Ball Mania 4, I think. Yeah, bro, right here. I'll show you guys right now. This guy drafted Judy in the first pick right here. First pick of round friggin' 3, dude. I couldn't believe it. Especially when he got Ridley and Chase, and then he got DJ Moore in round 4. I couldn't believe he took this route, but I mean, he didn't have a terrible team, but see, this guy, he got Javonte and Samaji. That was actually good. See, this is why Javonte and P. Ryan, this is why you can get both of them, because Javonte is going like round 7. It used to be Javonte would go like no shit. Javonte would go like right here where Burks and Sky Moore are, and then P. Ryan would not make it back here. He wouldn't make it to where Njoku is. He would always go like anywhere from like 91 to like 102. But Javonte used to go like right where Sky Moore is. But since this guy drafted Javonte so early, he was able to handcuff him. Football can't come soon enough. Yeah, dude, I agree, bro. I'm actually low-key pumped for this Jets Browns game, Hall of Fame game in 2 days. Well, really tomorrow, because today's Wednesday if you think about it. But Watson drop issue scare you? No, not really. People were saying the same thing about Jamar Chase, bro. No. The guy's a freak of nature, dude. The guy's a freak athlete at the receiver position. If Love is any good this year, like even if he's just like remotely good and Watson stays healthy, he's gonna have a pretty big year. I think he's gonna outplay his ADP. Which his ADP wasn't so freaking high. You're talking about Judy? Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm low key kind of, I wouldn't say I'm higher on Sutton, but I think Sutton has better value. We're talking about Cortland Sutton. I think his value is better because Cortland Sutton, you can get him so much later. You can get him so much freaking later. Look, you got this guy at 108 right here. So let's just call Sutton round 10. He is a round 10 player. He's not round 9. I'd have to look at his ADP, but he's a round 9 to 10 player. And you got Judy going. I mean, this is kind of early, but what? His ADP is what? It's got to be like what? Beginning around 4. Which I feel like is high, dude. Because I feel like Watson is a little bit better than him. I feel like you could argue Kirk is better than him. I know people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I think you could I think Kirk's better than him. I'll be straight with you guys. I think Kirk is better than Jerry Jeudy, and you can get Kirk down here at 51. But then like Sutton, okay, Sutton's ADP is actually it's on the rise. This is not as high as what it used to be. This is what, the beginning of round 9. So you're talking a 5-round difference though, man. You're talking about a 5-round difference, and if we go to my sheet here, Here's Judy. Judy had a 23.9% target share. Actually, this is red zone target share. Almost a 21% target share. 100 total targets. 6.7 a game. Okay. Let's go to Sutton. Fine freaking Sutton. We'll just compare the two real quick. Where the heck is Sutton at? There he is. Let's compare the two. Let's go over the two here. Hide the rest of these guys. This is last year. So, oh, you guys can't see this. Hold on. Let me show you guys this. All right. Buddy's got to be from Denver. Zach wasn't be slinging the rock. Skeptical Deshaun Watson height. All right, bro. Let's go over Judy and Sutton from last year. All right. Blow this up for you guys a smidge so you guys can see it here. So this is last year. Who's got a higher target share in the red zone? This is really, really good, by the way, for Sutton. That's almost 32%. The only guys that really have like more in the red zone are like DK, and like DK and a couple other people maybe. Like Javonte had a higher red zone target share, obviously. So there's this is high. This is high. 9 more targets, 7.3 targets per game versus 6.7. Route participation rate 100% for Cortland Sutton. That means he ran a route every single time he was on the field. You know, for every pass play, basically. Red zone targets, 3 more. Route win rate. Look at this discrepancy in route win rate. So what percentage of routes are they winning? You got a guy who was ranked 23rd in route win rate versus a guy who was ranked 88th last year. Route win rate versus man coverage. Okay? This is a huge stat right here. Route win rate versus man coverage. This is last year. You guys can look this up. I already have it on my spreadsheet. This is what my player noticed. He's decent, but there's better players that are drafted behind him, like Christian Kirk. Like this guy, and this guy you can get in round 9, round 10. Look at it. He's top 10 in route win rate versus man coverage last year. He has more of a snap share. It does mean something to a degree, but we got to look at the bigger picture though as well. We can't just take a small sample size. Small sample sizes, they can only take you so far. And I get it, Russ was bad. I'm not saying that, but look, both of these guys probably both improved this year if Russ plays better, which he should. But when I look at these stats, and these are important stats for receivers, I'm just like, you know, do I go with the guy that's got these numbers in round 4, really going in round 3 sometimes? Or do I go get a different guy in round 3, round 4, who I think might be better, and then maybe take a gamble on a guy who's in round 9 or 10 that plays on the same team, the same position, that arguably has better numbers than that guy did last year? I'm not super high on Sutton. I'm not saying that. But, I mean, come on, man. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. And Judy has been a little bit injury prone. Judy's been a little bit injury prone. So, I mean, I was high on Judy when he came out of Alabama. I thought he was going to be a good receiver in the NFL. But he just kind of, you know, he kind of make a good point. Yeah, he, you know, Judy just, we'll see, man. I worry about Judy's health kind of more than anything. I feel like he's kind of been hurt. I feel like he's been hurt more than, really, I feel like that kind of, that's why I really, and I said this last stream, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think Judy could be this year's Allen Robinson, this year's Mike Thomas from last year. Guys that were being drafted a little too high, and then they kind of disappoint you. Who was another guy last year? Mike Williams. Mike Williams last year. Guys being drafted in round 3, round 4, and then I'm telling you, there's one of those guys hiding in the ADPs. I don't know who it is. Judy would be one of my candidates. I could be wrong. We'll see. But and the reason why I say that is just because I worry about Judy's health. It is a hot take. Yeah, it's a hot take for sure. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not. But we got to start trying to pick these players out, because there's going to be a Allen Robinson, Mike Thomas last year in this draft. We don't know who it is, but Judy's kind of I would say Judy's kind of the top of my list, low key. Been drafting Jacoby Myers a lot lately with Jimmy G at quarterback. Can't see him throwing them deep balls to Javonte. Yeah. I think Myers could be like a Zay Jones of this year, maybe, to a degree. I don't think he'll be quite that good, but he could be a guy where you kind of get late at receiver. Of course, I don't know, what is he, round 11? He's like a round 10, 11 guy now. He was going actually a little bit later, back in like May, April. Let me look at Judy's injury here. I'll pull Judy's injury history up here. Let's look at it here. Let me get this off the screen. I mean, he's a high risk. Durability is a 4 out of 5, so that's not bad. But look at this. Look at this guy. This is knee meniscus tear. This was back in college. Chest rib sprain, pull, probably a rib fracture. He had a groin pull. This is the meniscus tear back in 2018. He's had the ankle injuries. Yeah, he's had ankle injury after ankle injury each year. Of course, they're only grade 1s. Well, this was a grade 3 actually. That's a high ankle sprain 2 years ago. Ankle sprain again though last year, November. Wasn't that the game against Seahawks, I think, if I'm correct. Yeah, man. I don't know. Am I taking Deontay over Judy? God, that's I do like Deontay a little bit. I don't know. It's close. It's close. I would say no, but it's close. And I know people might, there's gonna be people like, what? He would take Deontay? I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. I think Pittsburgh's offense actually ends up being a little bit better this year than people think. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I see these numbers, bro. I see the injury history. I don't know if Russ. I should say I don't know how he doesn't get better this year, because he played so bad last year. It's kind of hard to say. Well, does Russ stay playing really bad? I don't think so. I think he improves a little bit. I just don't know, man. I think Denver's got a pretty tough schedule this year as well. Not super high on. I'm telling you, like, the guys that I want the most are Dolchich and P. Ryan. Those are the guys I really want the most out of this offense, if I'm being honest. Broncos had a 23rd hardest, 23rd hardest. No, not hardest. 23rd easiest schedule. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th hardest schedule. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Myers genuinely a talented route runner, comparing him more as like an Ayuk this year. Yeah, I would agree. The difference is, though, that he plays for a crappy team. That's why it's hard to be on. It's hard to be. I'm telling you guys right now, dude. The Raiders are gonna be terrible. They're gonna be horrible. I took the alternate over under on them to go under their win total this year. I think I took them under 5.5. That was when their over under was like 7.5. I think it's like 6.5 now technically. But I took the over under. I took under like 5.5 total wins for the Raiders, and it was like plus 175 odds. It's gonna be like the easiest win of my life. More, Judy, give me more. Give me more, dude. I know there's some people who aren't super high on Moore this year, but Moore's got less competition for catches, in my opinion. I mean, he's got a little bit of competition from Kupp Mattison, but I don't think that's much. Judy's got Sutton, Dolchich, and he's got the running backs. Javonte and P. Ryan. I think both of them are capable of catching out of the backfield. P. Ryan's probably going to get used a ton to catch out of the backfield. Whereas, like, the Bears' backfield isn't going to catch as many balls as the Broncos' backfield, I don't think, this year. And I really don't think it's close. So, Moore's got less competition. But we'll see if Fields can get him the ball. I think Fields gets him the ball actually plenty this year. I think the people that are doubting Fields and his ability to throw the ball, I think they're going to should be keeping receipts for those people this year, because I think he's going to improve as a passer this year. He has to. I agree. Raiders not looking good, but imagine Jacobs sits out, pass attempts go up. Yeah, they will. I don't think Jacobs is going to sit out though. I thought he would maybe 3 weeks ago, but now I don't think he will. He's going to sit out the rest of training camp and the rest of the preseason now. So I wouldn't even worry about Jacobs really sitting out. I'd be more worried about him getting hurt and then not being on the field in that way. So that's what I would say. Either way, you're looking at him probably not being in the lineup because of one or the other. So pass attempts are going to go up. It's just whether or not they complete those passes, in my opinion. You don't stack players because you're from that area, bro. That's not a good fantasy strategy. Your word, thanks for the information. Yeah, no problem, man. I will try to be on a little bit earlier next time. This is obviously late. It's 3:30 in the morning, my time. I should have been on a few hours ago, but I was also working earlier as well. So, yeah. I'm just going over this news about injuries, man. Kupp being injured, I'm worried about him a little bit. I'm glad I don't have a ton invested into him. What do I got here? I don't think I have too much exposure to him. I got 6.9% of them, 10 shares. Yeah, not a ton. I mean, I will say I've drafted Bijan plenty of times. I've drafted Bijan plenty of times over Kupp, and I've also drafted, obviously, Tyreek Hill plenty of times over... I don't know. Let's see how much I got of Hill. I actually have less. I only have 3 shares of Hill. This is just the 145 teams. I probably got him more. I gotta have him more if we go over some of these super flex leagues. Maybe. I would think so. 2 more shares there. I don't really have a ton of Tyreek Hill either. But, let's go back to this page here. 12:30 time for you. Are you drafting any Washington receivers? Yes, I am going after Dotson almost as much as I can. I've taken a little bit of McLaurin, but I like Dotson better because of his ADP is a little lower. And I think he's got a ton of upside. These guys are all RB1s too. It's wild. Let me see. Touch up on the RB situation. Is JT going to get traded? Pat's going to sign someone. Brees eased into the offense. Jacobs is the biggest fade. Yeah, let's start off with the easy one. Jacobs' biggest fade of the year. I would say that, but Taylor's knocking on the door if he doesn't get traded. I seen something about maybe the Chiefs being interested, which that would be wild. That would be wild if the Chiefs got Taylor. I just hope it happens before my draft. That way I can draft him. But I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see, dude. We'll see about it. I've heard the Patriots maybe too. I don't know. To me, that wouldn't make any sense. I keep seeing all these like bad running backs getting added onto depth charts, and they're not big name guys like Zeke or Fournette or Cook or Kareem Hunt. Like, bro, we went over the news about these two guys, right? Charbonnet and Walker, and they went and got Sharodrick Thompson which I don't know if he's a rookie or not, or maybe it's his second year. That's the guy out of Texas Tech a few years ago. I remember that guy, but he's not like anything special. Sharodrick Thompson. They went out and got that guy. When you still have Zeke out there, you still have Kareem Hunt, you still have Leonard Fournette. Yeah, I've heard Miami too. Yeah, Miami, JT to Miami. I've heard that as well. Dotson's fire. Yeah, Dotson's fire. Go get Dotson as much as you can. The guy that I would target, especially if it's best ball, would be Pierce. I would go get Alec Pierce over Pittman. Especially if it's best ball. If we're talking like a regular league, we can have a discussion, but I'm actually starting to like Pierce a little bit more than just about anybody on that Colts offense. If I'm, obviously I like Richardson, but I don't want him as my first QB. I want to make sure I got somebody else. Who? Sharodrick Thompson, bro. Look him up. He's a guy out of Texas Tech. I remember watching him in college. That's who they went and got, though. That's who Seattle went and got because of these two injuries, I believe. And then you've seen the Ravens go get Melvin Gordon, which I didn't even know he was still playing. JT to the Bears, please. I would rather see him go to somebody like the Chiefs, though. I'd rather see him go to a team that's on a high-scoring offense, that's going to be living in the red zone, and it doesn't really have a running quarterback. I know Mahomes can run, but he doesn't. They're not designed runs. Whereas, Mahomes will run for what, 300-400 yards a year, maybe, maybe 200 to 400 every year, roughly. But he's not gonna be a guy who's running for 700, 800, maybe even 1,000 yards like Fields and Lamar and stuff. So I'd rather see JT go to an offense that's really, really good, that doesn't have a running quarterback, really. So let me go back to this one, Randy. Pat's gonna sign someone, dude. I don't know, bro. I'm starting to think no, but I feel like they will. We'll see, man. There's so much crap going on. It's crazy. This is why I'm glad I don't draft. Like literally, my auction draft is September 6th. Literally the night before the Chiefs and the Lions game. Now my keepers lock in on the 22nd. So my keepers lock in 20 days. I can show you guys right here. So see, I have keepers right here to lock in 21 days, 15 hours, 20 minutes, and it's counting down, obviously 55 seconds, 54. So I don't know what's going to happen, but they need to hurry up and make their freaking decision before my keepers lock in. That's all I know. That would be nice, at least. I'd like to know what's going on with Ramondre. I still think Brees is going to get eased into the offense no matter what, even if they sign Cook. I feel like Cook is like a done deal almost, even though it's not. I just don't see. And really what's crazy is that maybe Minnesota makes a move here because of this. You guys think Minnesota would make a move now because of this? Maybe they like invite Dalvin Cook back to Minnesota. Wouldn't that be crazy? I feel like it wouldn't be crazy. If you see Dalvin Cook maybe come back because of this, I mean, who knows how bad this is? What's funny about all these injuries? You look at this injury. You look at, this is what I hate the NFL, bro. You look at these two injuries. They don't have any timetable. They have no timetable on when these guys are going to be like good to go or how long they might actually be out. They're not even giving us like how many weeks they're going to be out. They're just saying, oh, they got hurt in practice and good luck in your fantasy drafts. That's basically what they're saying. It's stupid, man. It's stupid. JT to the Bears. That way we could at least get bounced in the wild card. Yeah. Are you buying the Akers hype? Yeah.
These players are going nuclear in 2023, dropping mushrooms on the competition. Draft as many nuclear players as you can to demolish other league members in fantasy football this year.
I will say it sucks for Akers that Kupp is down right now. Hopefully Kupp can get back onto the field because I think they both kind of affect each other. At least Kupp affects Akers. Like if Kupp's not on the field, it's going to hurt Akers because maybe they become a little bit one-dimensional. I don't think they're going to be one-dimensional. They're still going to throw the ball a little bit. They're going to have to because their defense is terrible. The Rams' defense is going to be terrible this year. They're going to be like the Vikings, where they just can't stop the ball through the air at all. Yeah, Akers loses a little bit of value, but I still want him to a degree until we find out like the severity of this issue that Kupp has going on, which hopefully we find that out before draft night, right? Stack boxes, I don't think so, man. I really don't, because they're going to be forced to throw the ball a little bit, and I think Akers is going to see a lot of receiving work as a back. Kind of similar to what Jacobs did last year. Jacobs had a lot of receiving work last year just as a running back, and I think you're going to see plenty of that with Akers. Remember, they got Mike LaFleur as their offensive coordinator, who was the old offensive coordinator in for the New York Jets. There's a reason why obviously Brees is a really good receiver as well as a running back, but you can thank Mike LaFleur for putting him in those situations to catch the ball out of the backfield. Didn't even hear about Mattison. Yeah, I know. That's why we're here covering it, because we're talking about all these free agent running backs. Well, now we got another team, another candidate right here in the Minnesota Vikings who maybe go out and get one of those guys. I do think there's still a shot that Zeke ends up back in Dallas, especially after the Ronald Jones PED situation. He's suspended 2 games for PED, so there's a chance that maybe they just cut Ronald Jones and they bring Zeke back. I think that's what I would do if I was the organization, because I don't think Ronald Jones is any good anyways. That's probably why he was on performance enhancers, because he freaking sucks. He's trying to get better and be useful for the limited amount of years in the NFL he has left. And so I wouldn't be shocked if maybe they just like cut him and then they bring Zeke back in. Now look, if they bring Zeke back into Dallas, if you're a Pollard owner, do not freak out. Pollard owners are going to freak out if that happens, but I wouldn't, okay? There's a chance that Zeke's probably going to take away some touchdowns as far as like inside the 5-yard line if that happens, but Pollard is still going to be really, really good, I think, as long as he stays injury free, obviously. So JT to the Vikings would break fantasy. Yeah, they could. Like I said, with this news, the Vikings, they're a potential to either go out and trade for somebody like JT or even pick up somebody like, I would say Dalvin Cook, but I don't think so. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they bring Dalvin Cook back. If Dalvin Cook decided to come back on the price tag that they were comfortable with paying him, I think it's a possibility. So, and like I said, we got to see the severity of this injury as well. If the injury is not severe, then maybe they just, maybe it's not an option. But we don't know the severity of the injury because these guys don't tell us. This is literally reminded me of last year, bro. Like, we didn't know Najee Harris's Liz Frank injury. Like, we didn't know how severe it was. We didn't know it was going to affect him all season. Even though he didn't miss any time, you could tell it affected Najee last year. Plus, he had a bad offensive line on top of it. So, Toriano Clinton, who is that? I don't even know who that is. Is that a running back? You guys got to think with the Colts that Zach Moss, broke his arm. He's out 6 weeks or whatever. So he probably won't be ready to come back until week 2 or 3, maybe even week 4, because you got to think he's going to be a little bit out of condition as well now because of this. And so I would start. Look, if I did a best ball right now, which I don't know if I'm going to or not. Probably not. All they have is slow puppies up. They need to put the puppy 3 out. I don't know why the puppy 3 is not out yet. But if I was in a draft right now, especially best ball, I would consider getting Deion Jackson. I would consider taking him super late, him or Evan Hull. I don't know which one. I'd probably take Deion Jackson because Evan Hull is more of a receiving back, and I don't know how many catches he's going to be getting with Richardson at quarterback. Even though Richardson's not going to probably be the starting quarterback to start the season, he's going to be the quarterback at some point, probably week 3, week 4, week 5. And so, yeah, Deion Jackson is, I wouldn't say, I'm not saying Deion Jackson's like Adrian Peterson or anything, but he can provide some value, especially in a best ball format. If you get him super late, you probably could get him for free in round 18. And so you never know. I picked up Deion Jackson like last year. One of the weeks that Taylor went down, he had a pretty good week for me, actually, because he caught like 10 balls. But don't sleep on Deion Jackson. He's actually not that bad. He's got good metrics too, coming out of college, coming out of Duke. I believe he came out of Duke, and so it just depends, bro. I do both strategies. I mean, I've done like 200 drafts, and I don't do all of them the same. This year, if you're asking me this year, like whenever I go into my 2 main redrafts, whenever I do Smitty's league for the Marsman league, which is actually coming up, I'll probably live stream that whenever I do that, by the way. And then obviously in my auction league, which I want to stream the auction league, but I probably won't do that until next year because I like to actually be in, like, because it's an in-person draft. But obviously we do the auction on our phones or on our computers and stuff. But I would say I'm probably, like, this year I'm more of a 0 RB guy. When I say 0 RB, really I mean like I'll take maybe 1 RB my first 4 picks, like usually like in round 3 or 4, and then at that point I'm trying to get Pierce. I'm telling you guys right now, Pierce is on this for a reason.
Players are going nuclear.
Pierce to me is another one of those guys, just like Akers, who could be the Josh Jacobs this year. I would not sleep on Pierce at all. Pierce is that dude, and you can get him in round 6 just about every single draft. Sometimes even the beginning of round 7 maybe. So I'm super high on Pierce this year. I'm gonna be going to get Pierce in just about every single one of my main leagues this year. Go get Dameon Pierce. Yeah. I would say this year I'm more of a 0 RB guy. I mean, I like Bijan in round 1, but let's just say I don't go Bijan. I'm kind of avoiding Barkley to a degree. I would like him in round 3, obviously, but that's not going to happen anymore. He's going to go in round 2. Hell, in your main league, like in one of my main leagues, he's going to go in round 1. I don't even think he makes it to round 2. And one of my main leagues is only a 10-person, 10 managers. So, who's the Saints starting running back? It's going to be Jamal and Kamara, but we'll see. Like I said, I predicted Kamara would probably get a suspension handed down this week. Turns out he just, I already went over the news from Monday. He met with Roger Goodell, or was planning on meeting with Roger Goodell. It's funny how they don't even tell us the date that he's meeting with him. Like, just tell us. I'm guessing he met with either Roger Goodell today or tomorrow, or maybe he met with him yesterday. But I expect a suspension to come very, very soon. And at that point, we will know who the starting running back is going to be. It's probably going to be Jamal Williams, okay? If I had to handcuff 2 of the 3 guys, it's going to be Kamara and Jamal. I like Kendre Miller, but I just think it's... I think Kendre Miller's season's gonna wait. He's gonna have to wait till next year before he really breaks out, maybe. Montgomery round 6 or 7 though. Yeah, I know. Montgomery used to go in round 8. And now he goes in like 6-7 turn. It's crazy, bro. Dude, I can show you guys. Because I've been on Montgomery for so long as well. Bro, I'll show you guys. Let me go back to... Just guy's ADP has jumped so much. I'll just go back to like the poodle. Let me see if I can find him in the poodle here. I know I have that. Nope, not that team. Let's go to he's got to be on one of my puppies here. I got a puppy draft with him in here somewhere. I got a little bit of Swift in somebody's, a little more Swift than I would like. I reached on Pearson this draft. See, I took Evan Hull in that draft. Maybe I don't have any David Montgomery early, bro. I know I have to. Let's go to, where's the puppy 2? Let's go to the poodle 2. I gotta have him in some poodle 2s. Here he is. So right here, Montgomery, 86. His ADP was 86 and a half. You guys remember this crap, dude? Oh my God, he was a steal. And I got Mattison at 83. This was back when Mattison was going at the beginning of round 8. Yeah, this is a terrible running back room. I got Swift here. EU. It's unfortunate. I don't really like that team very much, but at least I don't like it very much now. But still. Snag Pollard or Chubb in round 2, Gibbs, Najee, or Jones in round 3. Yeah, see, I'm okay with going like say you go 0 RB. It's really not even really 0 RB. But let's say you go like 2 receivers and then you go running back in round 3. I like the idea of maybe Barkley or Pollard. Obviously, Pollard should be there potentially. Maybe Ramondre, but I don't know, dude, because we got to see what happens with the Patriots. I don't know who they're going to sign, if they even are going to sign anybody. I just don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't know who they're going to sign. So I hope they sign Zeke, though, if they sign anybody, because I feel like Zeke is I know they're looking at Fournette right now. Fournette's kind of a candidate, but I don't know, man. Roschon Johnson hurt? Is he hurt? I don't think so. I don't know. Let me look. Let me check real quick. I don't think he's hurt, is he? If he is, I don't know anything about it. Dealing with an injury. Coach Matt Eberflus said Tuesday Johnson is tending to an undisclosed injury. Of course it's undisclosed. Adam Johns of The Athletic reports Johnson sat out Tuesday's session and instead spent his time with the Bears training staff. Any missed time in camp would be detrimental, especially for a rookie vying for a spot in the backfield in which the pecking order currently is up in the air. Fellow RBs Khalil Herbert, Deonta Freeman have experience on their side, while Travis Homer likely is a superior pass catcher to the rookie 4th round pick. Undisclosed, we don't know what it is because they don't tell us anything. Chris asked me which wide receiver QB stack is your favorite this year. That's a good one. Probably look, I like Lawrence and Ridley, but it's probably my favorite, but it's probably not the one that's going to do the best. The one that'll do the best will probably be Hurts and Smith. And no, I'm not going to say AJ Brown. I like Smith a little bit better than AJ Brown. And I think there's a potential chance that we see AJ Brown miss some time this year. So my favorite QB stack is Lawrence with one of his receivers, either Kirk or Ridley. But I think the one that does the best for you in terms of fantasy production would be Hurts and Smith. That's probably like my second favorite. I'm obviously really high on both of those offenses, but I really like Jacksonville this year as well. So, yeah, Herbert with one of his guys is going to be pretty good. So, AJ Brown will miss time. Why? I just have a feeling because he always misses time, except for last year. Last year was like the first year he scaped by without an injury. He always has like a knee issue for the most part. He'll always miss a few games because of his knees. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Last year was an outlier, obviously. Plus, I think that Smith is an underrated wide receiver too. He's really a wide receiver 1. He just is wide receiver 2 because AJ Brown's there. You think about all the number 2 receivers in the league as far as like Javonte Smith, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, all those guys that come to mind that are number 2s on their teams. Javonte Smith's better than both of those guys. So, and he would be a number 1 receiver if he was, I mean, really all 3 of those guys would be number 1 receivers if they had their own team, but Smith would definitely be a number 1 receiver. It wouldn't even be close. But AJ Brown usually has a little bit of injury history here and there as far as like missing. I wouldn't say missing the whole year. He's never really missed a whole year, but he always misses like 3 or 4 games each year, except for last year. And so last year, look, I had AJ Brown on my team last year in my main league, in my auction league, but at the same time, I was holding my breath every single week. And I'm glad that he made it through the whole season. Chance of injury, he's high risk, but it's only 58%, so that's not bad, according to Draft Sharks here. But 2020 knee bruise, knee strain grade 1, knee strain. He's always got a knee issue, bro. I swear to God. He's, hamstring 2, chest. See, 2021, 2021, 2021, 2021, 2021, 2020. So last year, 2022, he skated by for the most part with no issues. And so I just have a feeling, bro. And I'm not saying AJ Brown's a bad player. I do have him ranked as like 10th on my fantasy rankings. And yes, I do have Javonte Smith over him right here. 1 spot, but it is what it is. People are gonna obviously disagree with me, but we can go back and look here, and I'll explain to you guys why. And it's not just the stats. The eye test kind of tells me that I think he's more of a durable player. But we go hide. Here, I'll leave Jalen Waddle up here so you guys can see Waddle too. Might as well. So, you got AJ Brown, you got Jalen Waddle. We'll leave Waddle up here. You got Devontae Smith as well. Of course, Waddle, look at this red zone target share. It's terrible. 12.5%. This is why I'm kind of low on Waddle. He just doesn't see the end zone. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. His red zone target share is not as good as these other players as well. Red zone target share, AJ Brown's got him. 25% for Brown, which is good. 30.8% is better, though, obviously, for AJ Brown. Smith has 27% target share, 29%. So, obviously, if this number's over 25, this is really good. You're going to call it a night, Randy? All right, man. I'll see you, bro. I'm probably just going to go over these 2 guys real quick, and then I'm probably going to wrap up my show as well. Like I said, we'll go over some more news tomorrow, probably when some more news breaks. Hopefully they start telling us the the severity of these injuries of these guys, like Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, some of these other guys as well. See, we look at total targets here, 146 for Brown, 136 for Smith. It's pretty close. Obviously, Waddle's in a different category. Route participation, Smith's got him on the route participation. They both run routes, though. Pretty much most of the time they're on the field. Red zone targets 16 to 13. That's obviously why Brown's target share is up a little bit higher. Brown does have a little bit better win rate in both man and total route win rate, but Smith's not far behind. He's a little bit far behind in total route win rate, 59th. Snap share though, he's got better snap share. And look, my player notes to draft him, but I worry about injury. Draft him. You're getting a discount on Smith. I will say, I wish the discount was a little bigger. I will say though, like in my auction league, it's a little different. I'm going to target him in my auction league because my auction league, we go back to the rankings here. On Sleeper, they have Smith projected to go for $21, and they have Brown projected to go for $42. Now, obviously, this guy's being kept in my league by the guy that I traded him to for Trevor Lawrence. But in a normal league that started from scratch, and if you were bidding on these guys, at least in auction, you're getting Smith, who had more catches. He had more catches than AJ Brown last year. He had 95, and I think AJ Brown had like 88. So you got like 7 more catches than him. But you're getting him for half the freaking price in auction league for a guy who is roughly in the same tier as him. He's a year younger. They're both going to be good. You know, they're both going to be, they're really like a 1A and a 1B. They're not even really a 1-2 punch. They're a 1A and a 1B. And so this is why I think when you factor, especially the auction value, maybe the redraft value could be a little better, because Smith does go in round 2. Brown goes in round 1. They're only about, I don't know, 10 picks apart, probably ADP wise, maybe 11 or 12. But in auction, my projections aren't far off from Sleepers, but you're talking about half the price for one guy over the other, then yeah, give me the guy that's half the price. That's why in auction league, I will be going after this guy. Like, it's not even, I don't even have to think about it. So that's why I'm kind of a little higher on Smith. I guess I kind of have a different outlook because of my auction league, and so that's probably why I'm a little bit higher on him. But would drafting AJ Brown and Smith in round 1-2 be a bad move? I wouldn't do it. I don't think I have done it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I would do that. I would pick one or the other. But I would try to get Jalen Hurts with one of these guys if I had him. You know what I mean? Especially in redraft. Like if I go get AJ Brown in round 1, I would like to get Hurts in round 2 or 3, or vice versa with Smith. And then like if you have like the number 1 through 4 pick, then yeah, it's not even it's not even a question. You don't take any of these guys. You're looking at Chase or Jefferson, hopefully, and if not, you're probably looking for Tyreek Hill, McCaffrey, Bijan, maybe Kelsey if you want to go that route, but I wouldn't go that route. Who else am I missing? Eckler maybe, but just depends on your league format too. I think going Smith over Waddle is a good move. I do. I think Smith is a better receiver than him. I really don't think it's close. The only thing that keeps Waddle in the same ballpark as Smith is that he has big playability. That is the only thing that keeps him remotely in the ballpark. He had 20 less targets. The target share in the red zone, we have to, I don't know if this is going to be the case this year, but the target zone in the red zone is terrible. If you look at Tyreek Hill's right here, oh, you guys can't even see this. Hold on. Let me go back to it here. So here, I opened it up a little bit, basically the top 12 guys. But if you look at the target share in the red zone, Waddle and Tyreek Hill, both on the same offense, they're not good compared to everybody else. So this is red zone target share. This is their target share inside the red zone. Now, I will say the reason why this is maybe a little bit off and it's not as good as what it could be is because these guys have long touchdowns. They have big playability. They'll catch a ball over the middle at midfield and they'll take it to distance. So it's a touchdown, but it doesn't count as a red zone touchdown. It doesn't count as a red zone target because they ran 50 yards with it. So, but I do like Jalen. Don't get it twisted. I like Jalen Waddle. I wish Waddle was going in like round 3 though. I feel like his ADP is a little high, if I'm being quite honest. These guys obviously win routes, you know, because they're fast. Top 10 in route win rate, top 21 in win rate versus man. That's not bad. Obviously, Tyreek Hill was 3rd and 8th, which is really good. The thing that is concerning though is the red zone target share. Maybe they're in the red zone a little more if Tua stays healthy. So I'm not like against these guys. I still like him and I still draft him from time to time. I have a team where I went Tyreek Hill in round 1 and Waddle in round 2, and then I ended up getting Tua to stack with them back in like round 9. But when push comes, look, here's the deal. In my auction league, I can't even get Waddle because he's being kept by somebody. So obviously I'm going to go after Smith anyways. But I mean, if we're talking best ball, I would take Waddle and Smith. I would try to consistently take them both, you know, have consistent shares of both of them. But when push comes to shove, I'm taking Smith probably. And it's not by much, dude. It's not like, oh my God, I'm saying Smith is just way better than him. I'm just saying push comes to shove, I'm taking the guy with the more targets, probably the guy with the better quarterback and the more efficient offense, and a guy who has better red zone target share. I know that the route win rate's not what we want, but I feel like this could be better. I feel like this route win rate could be better. This guy is a good route runner. He's a very good guy who can go up and get jump balls actually for his size. We've seen that last year. And the guy won the freaking Heisman in college. And he played with Jalen Waddle. Like these guys were teammates at Alabama, bro. And so, like, yeah, Waddle's a very effective receiver, kind of like Tyreek Hill, where you can get him the ball and he's a big playmaker. But this right here is concerning. This red zone target share is concerning. Even the target share overall, 21.6%. That's not in that 25% or above, which is what you're looking for in a wide receiver number 1. A guy who is a top 10 receiver, you're looking for 25% or more. Garrett Wilson, Olave, like, look, I'll show you guys these guys. St. Brown, Metcalf, Cooper, DJ Moore, London, all of these guys, Samuel even. And Samuel, like, it's kind of a similar player to where he gets used in like certain scenarios. Hopkins even, Calvin Ridley 2 years ago. All these guys have better target shares than him. Michael Pittman had a better target share. That's concerning because at the end of the day, this guy right here, Jalen Waddle, is being drafted in like the middle of round 2. So if he went in like the middle of round 3 or something, or even towards the end of round 3, then I would be on board. I'd be like, okay, this guy has really good value where he's being drafted. Whereas right now, I feel like the value's not there. At least in best ball. Maybe in a regular draft, like I know like in one of my flea flicker drafts, I don't know if Waddle will go in the first or second round. He definitely won't go in the first, but I don't know if he'll go in the second round. I could see him going round 3 in one of those drafts. So now, of course, that's also a 10-man league. One of them's a 12-man, the other's a 10-man. So we'll see. But see these numbers right here with T. Higgins? This is also kind of why I'm not so high on T. Higgins. Last question. Would I be comfortable with reaching for Wilson, Garrett Wilson, I'm assuming is who you're talking about, at pick 8 and round on? I've done it before. Yeah, I would say I would be comfortable. I would. Like, what people don't realize is that Garrett Wilson is that dude. He's literally he's part of the next wave, and he's at the top of the wave. He's the next Javonte Adams. He's the next Stephon Diggs type player. He, like, you know what I'm talking about. If you go back and like, and obviously Adams did it last year as the second best receiver, but when you talk about a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, a Davante Adams like talent at the receiver position, and obviously we have two of those guys that are basically in their prime, or even really not even quite to their prime yet, in Chase and Jefferson. The next guy on the list, as far as the up and comers to be that guy, at the very, very top of the list, it's Garrett Wilson. And now he's got a better quarterback. Look, I don't think the Jets are going to win a Super Bowl. They probably make the playoffs. They probably don't make it as far as what people think. But they're going to be better. They're going to win more games. They're going to score more touchdowns. And Garrett Wilson is going to be a huge part of that, obviously pending injury. I don't think, like I said, I'm not really worried about his little low ankle sprain. I sprain my left ankle all the freaking time, dude. And like, if I have like a little tweak of the ankle, like, I'm fine. Like, I don't even, like, my ankle doesn't even hurt because I've sprained it so many freaking times. But the only thing you have to worry about as far as ankle sprains go are like high ankle sprains. If it's a low ankle sprain, bro, he's fine. He's fine. He'll be back on the field. He'll be ready for week 1. This dude, though, is literally the next Chase Jefferson. We're going to be talking about him as a top 5 receiver probably after this year. That is why he is ranked as my 5th receiver in my rankings. This guy's 23, same age as Chase, Jefferson's a year older. Well, these guys are on their way out right here. These two, Diggs is on his way out, Adams is on his way out, bro. This is one of the guys who's going to replace him. I promise you. This guy is that good. He's that freaking dude. And if you don't think he is, then you need to go back and watch the tape, because this guy wins everywhere on the field. And now look, and I don't think Rodgers is going to be the same Rodgers of the MVP Rodgers that we've seen 2 years ago and 3 years ago, but it's going to be good enough for Wilson, in my opinion. I mean, when you look at what this guy was able to do with a terrible quarterback room, almost 32%, go back, almost 32% red zone target share for Garrett Wilson, about 25% target share overall, 147 targets, almost a little more than 8.5 per game. That was as a rookie, bro. That was as a rookie. Red zone targets, 19. He was 9th overall of all the receivers. He can win routes. It's not the greatest, but you got to think you got to think, dude, he was getting everybody's best shot. There wasn't really anybody on the other side of him. I don't think Lazard's a huge upgrade, but it's enough of an upgrade to maybe give him, and plus he's going to have better chances to catch the ball. Snap share wasn't even as good as, like, look, you see all these guys, they're in the 90s. He was at 78.8% snap share last year. But if we go back and look here, so if we go back and look at Garrett Wilson here, we go back and look at his let me put this off so that way you can see it. We go back and look at his snap shares, right? His snap shares right here. It's this column right here. 49, 61, 63, 77, 56, 44, 73. Now, if we go from week 8 on, though, look at this. 88, 92, 100, 83, 92, 97, 98, 97, 100, 88. He's a full-time player from week 8 on. They eased him into action as a rookie the first 7 weeks. That's why his snap share is at 78.8%. He's going to play 90+% of those snaps this year now. What the guy was able to do is really, it's amazing. It's amazing what he was able to do with how bad his quarterback play was. It was terrible. I mean, the guy had Flacco, washed up Flacco throwing him the ball a few weeks. He had Mike White throwing him the ball a couple weeks. He had Zach Wilson, who you could argue is worse than all, of the bunch. He's the worst quarterback of the bunch. And he had Zach Wilson more often than Flacco and Mike White. I think Wilson probably Let's see how many games Wilson played. Yes, I type in Wilson and he didn't even come up because nobody cares about him. Here he is, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 of those games, actually 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, no, so it was 9. Zach Wilson played 9 of those games, right? And then the rest were Mike White and a combination of Flacco. So 9 of those games were... But see, look at this. You actually see what Wilson played week 15 and 16 and week 11. Let's go back and look at week 15. So he didn't really do nothing week 16. 15, he had almost 100 yards. Week 11, he had nothing. Really, you look at the games that Wilson wasn't the quarterback, he actually played really well. 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. 162 with no touchdowns. 78, no touchdowns. 89 with no touchdowns. This guy's going to ball with Aaron Rodgers, and with having Lazard on the other side is going to help a little bit as well. I think you convinced me I need Wilson. Look, man, I've taken Wilson a ton. I think he's okay this year. If Rodgers comes, look, if they have a decent year, him and Rodgers comes back the next season, oh my God. Just I'm telling you, man. And I everybody's like hating on Rodgers. I think he's got a little bit left in the tank. He's extra motivated. He just called out Sean Payton the other day, bro. He wants to prove to everybody. And I'm not saying he's going to be like Brady and go win the Super Bowl the first year with a new team like Brady did. But this guy is hungry. The guy is a much better passer. I mean, he's literally a better passer than Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Mike White combined times 100. That's how much better of a passer he is of a football. He's had the whole offseason with these guys. I mean, I expect a big year from Garrett Wilson this year. If he remains healthy, okay, I got to say that because if he gets hurt, there's nothing we can do about it. But I do think he will stay healthy. I wouldn't worry about the ankle sprain. He's going to be ready to go. And with Lazard on the other side, I would compare it to have similar situation when Adams was in Green Bay and they had Lazard on the other side of Adams. And Adams was still able to do big things. I mean, we can go back and look at Javonte Adams because it's very, very similar. It's a very similar situation. Go back to 2021, his last year. With Adams, really, actually, we can just look down here. Adams was the number 2 receiver, number 1 receiver before that. I'm not saying he's going to do this, but you see these touchdowns right here? 11 last year of Rodgers, 18 the year before that. Of course, he ended up missing some games this season, 2019, so he only had 5. Bro, this guy had 4 freaking touchdowns. He had almost 20 more targets than any other rookie receiver. If we go back and look at Olave, Olave had 119 targets. Garrett Wilson had 147 with 3 bad quarterbacks. Let's go look at Drake London. He was probably the next best rookie receiver in terms of targets, right? 117 targets, so 2 less than Olave. This guy is going to get upwards of 160, 170 targets probably to be in, and then he's going to be more efficient. He's probably going to catch more balls because he's getting a better ball thrown to him, and the touchdown production is going to be there this year. He only had 4 last year. You seen what I showed you with Davante Adams. This offense is going to be much better. They're going to be in the red zone more. They're going to score more. The defense is going to give them shorter fields, and so the touchdown production is going to be there, bro. It's going to be there. Yeah. You want to know what else? They both wear the same number. They both wear number 17. This dude is all... I'm telling you, this guy is the real deal. When you like, if you want to be like, hey, who's going to be the next JJ? It's this guy right here. Who's going to be the next Jamar Chase? It's this guy. I know he's a couple years behind him, and it's kind of, it's a little early to say the next one of those guys, but he's that dude. This is why whoever asked me if I'm drafting him or Olave, look, I love Olave, but I'm drafting Garrett Wilson over him, bro, every time. It's not, I don't even have to think about it. Olave's probably got a little bit more competition in New Orleans, especially if Michael Thomas can stay healthy. You got to think, we'll see how long Kamara gets suspended, but they're even talking up Shaheed. I would say Shaheed probably could surprise some people this year. And I will say, I think the Saints with Jawan Johnson, Taysom Hill, they just signed Jimmy Graham. They also have Foster Moreau, who also played with Derek Carr. They have a little bit of a threat of tight ends taking some receptions away, whereas like in New York, they have Tyler Conklin. So who cares? You know what I mean? Rodgers isn't really known to target really his tight ends much anyways, if you go back to his Green Bay days. So yeah, Garrett Wilson's going to see a ton of work. It's not even a comparison, dude. It's not even a comparison. Go get... I would not be afraid. I drafted Garrett Wilson at number 3 overall before in a best ball draft. Just to try it. But I wouldn't draft him that high, but I would take him inside the top 10 for sure. It's not... As long as there's no injury concern going into week 1, let's say he's healed up from this ankle, there's no concern. He's been at practice, blah, blah, blah. The season's getting ready to start here in 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He's good to go. Then, yeah, I'm drafting him. So, yeah, I'm drafting him, man. He's got a better quarterback. And Rodgers is going to be motivated through the roof this year. And I think Sean Payton only added fuel to the fire with his comments the other day. It's funny, too, because they play Denver week 5, so... I can't wait for that game. He's going to try to dump like 400 yards on them in that game, I think. It'll be a good game, though, because Denver's got a decent defense as well. So, alrighty, man. I think I'm going to jump off of here. I enjoyed your guys' questions. I enjoyed you guys being a part of the stream today. Like I said, we just went over the news. We'll probably talk about Cooper Kupp a little bit more. We'll talk about this news with Mattison, especially if they go out and get a running back, or maybe they trade for JT. We'll see. I don't know about JT. I did kind of want to go over JT real quick, man. Freaking Smitty's show, man. I wasn't on Smitty's show. I didn't call in the other day, but I did go back and watch his show when he was talking about this NFI list stuff, and he had people calling Jim Irsay, like basically calling him a racist. They weren't calling him a racist, but they were referencing him to being like a slave owner or something. I'm like having slave owner mentality and stuff like that, bro. That is just, one, that's irresponsible. Two, it's for people on his show, and like I love Smitty's show, and I've been a part of his show, but you got people calling in talking about that, basically assuming that like that is childish, and it's a disgrace to be, be comparing them to like Dan Snyder mentality, slave owner mentality because of what he's doing. No, look, this guy's going by the CBA. He's playing hardball with a running back, and yeah, it's a little unfairish, but I don't think it matters who the player was. He was probably going to do this anyways because of how Taylor's, and yeah, is there a little bit of disrespect probably back and forth between the owner of Irsay and Jonathan Taylor? Sure, but to go out on a limb talking about slave owner mentality, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy when you got no proof of it to begin with. And so that is one thing I did kind of want to address on here. Look, I think Taylor he's gonna play ultimately. I'm avoiding him. There's a chance he gets traded, but I don't know. It just depends, bro. Whoever trades for him is going to have to overpay, is the thing. And I don't know if they're going to be willing to do that. And they're going to have to get a guarantee, hopefully, that he's going to re-sign with the team that trades for him on top of that. So you're talking about a complicated situation of him getting traded. As much as everybody wants to see him get traded, and maybe traded to a contender like the Chiefs or somebody, or a team that's going to use him, and he's going to be viable in fantasy and this and that. But we're just going to have to wait and see. I would say it's highly unlikely. And I'm obviously still staying away from him. Like I said, I had 4 shares of him out of my damn near 200 teams. So I wasn't really invested to begin with. And this just obviously makes me even more likely not to be invested. And but yeah, for people to like, you know, talk about slave owner mentality, bro, that is just, you know what that is for people to go out and say that and have no proof, you know, and making accusations about that. First of all, from what I've read and heard and seen from like the Pat McAfee show and other stuff, and obviously Pat McAfee's probably a little biased because he's a former Colts player, but Irsay was like one of the first owners to come out and speak out against Dan Snyder, trying to get rid of Dan Snyder for his stuff. He's been very, very good to his former players. First, I don't know, dude. It just didn't sit well with me when I heard people saying that on the phone calls. It's like, it's just immature. It's immature for people to say something like that when they have no evidence or proof to back it up. It's like defamation. It's libel. It's slander that you're putting on somebody's name, basically calling them a racist when you have no proof of that. And if you have nothing else to go off of, you know, was it a little bit of like when Irsay made his comments about like if he died that day and then if Taylor was out of the league the same day, nobody would care. That's true. The league would go on. Nobody would probably care, blah, blah, blah. Now, is that something he should say out loud? No. Is it true at the same time? No. Yes. And yeah, it's something he probably should have kept to himself because he just made the situation with Jonathan Taylor worse and his agent, you know. But that's the thing, dude. We live in a society nowadays that people don't want to hear the truth and everybody gets offended by everything that, you know, somebody says. It's crazy. And then you got people going on the show, on Smitty's show. And look, I loved Smitty's show and I love Smitty and I'm a part of his channel. I tuned into his channel. I like his content as well. I do my own stuff, but I like his content as well. But to have people on the show talking about him being a racist or him having slave owner mentality, like that is just childish for somebody to go on air and say stuff like that. So I don't know. I think that's crazy. I would never allow somebody to say that stuff on my show. They would get blocked in a hurry for saying something like that with no proof. That is fake news.
You are fake news.
And so, you know, you better give me like some audio or, you know, proof in a text or tweet or something like that, or an email or something like that before you start throwing that around. Otherwise, you're just, you know, I don't know, you're fake news.
You are fake news.
So, like I said, we'll talk about more of this stuff later with JT, some of the injury news. Obviously, Kupp situation we're going to monitor. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully these guys, people called in saying that pre-draft, what, tonight, whenever he went live tonight? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, dude. That shit bugs the crap out of me that people say that crap when they got no proof. It's like, you guys are just, I don't know. They're just spreading false information, lies. Like I said, that's like slander on somebody's name, bro, when you're saying shit like that. And it just bugs me, dude. Especially when they don't have, like, they're just saying it because that's what they think. It doesn't matter what you think, it's what you know. Like, Irsay is really considered actually a really good owner amongst like a lot of NFL players, former and current. And so it's like, for people, I don't know, bro. I would never allow people to say that stuff on my channel, bro, without, one, you better back it up. Two, if you don't, like, I don't want you to be a part of this. You know what I mean? I just think it's crazy he was allowing people to say that stuff on his channel, bro, and not like rebuttaling against it. And so, but yeah, man, the rest of the news, man, hopefully, like I said, these injuries, man, hopefully they give us some kind of time frame for some of these limits, because it's going to be tough, dude. We're literally going into drafts. I mean, luckily I don't draft until like the week of the first game, but I do have keepers that lock in here in like 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks technically right now. And so hopefully we get some news on these guys. I feel bad if you're drafting right now, like this week or next week, because you're going to go into the draft not knowing who the heck is hurt and who the heck's not. And so hopefully we get some more confirmation on like some of these injuries and how long they're going to be out, how severe they are. So we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll go live tomorrow probably if I got time. I'm going to try to get to bed here in a little bit, and then we might be able to go live like I'm going to try to be on by like 12 hours from now, so 4 p.m. East or 4 p.m. Central my time, somewhere around there. 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Central, and hopefully we'll have some news to go over or something. If not, we may just do like a draft or something, and you know, kind of monitor the news as we go, and we'll just do questions and talk about, you know, whatever there is to talk about. Maybe Kamara news comes down about a suspension tomorrow, maybe, hopefully this week, and then obviously the injury news stuff. So with that being said, I am out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out. You guys have a good one. Also subscribe if you are new, and then also leave a like on the video, please. It would be really appreciated. It helps me get through YouTube's algorithm, helps us reach a wider audience. And also expect maybe a video this week at some sort. I'm going to go over, probably going to go over my favorite picks for each round of a draft, okay? And so I'll give that to you guys probably in a video format. Hopefully by the weekend, hopefully by Saturday or Sunday-ish, I can maybe get that video out. I'll probably start working on it at some point in time this week. So favorite picks per round, and yeah, we'll put that out. And like I said, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'm out of here. You guys have a good one.